Alrighty. What's up, everybody? We're back with another vesting. Another vesting show on the docket. Feels good to be back. We get another dope founder coming on the show today. I'm excited. You know what we need? I got to get an intro ready. We got to start getting an intro going, like a little 5-minute little countdown or something. I think that's got to be what's next on the list. We got to get a countdown. It's almost necessary at this point. But this should be great. So I'm excited to bring to you another really dope YC founder conversation. It's going to be a banger. What's up, everybody? What's up, Teak? What's the most interesting sector? Shark Tank style interest? I'm gonna have to do a little something, man. I'm gonna have to mix it up a bit. Work on the entrance. I gotta get some game sounds. We still got a ways to go before the show is like completely ready. I would say the most interesting sector, though, because we've chatted with a ton of space companies, I would have to say space. But I thought that the company Georgia is building in the biological space is quite interesting as well. So we'll see. Hopefully by the time we get to demo day, we will have chatted with a fair amount of founders. But we have another dope chat today. We are chatting with another current YC founder incumbent. We are chatting with Cathleen today on the stream. All right. Thank you, Coco. Thank you, Coco Roco. I love some good Coco Roco to start the stream. What's up, Camille? What's up, chat? Appreciate you guys for coming back. Also, I need to put out a quick IG post because we are live, and a lot of times I don't do a great job of sharing that we are live. And sometimes, I mean, it is completely my fault, but at times it truly just comes down to like, I go from one thing to the next and my entire day is drilled out. And sometimes if I mess one thing up in the day, things just start completely tumbling over. So let me just put a little story post out. Guys, we're live on Twitch. We're chatting with another dope YC founder, live vesting show on Twitch, the #1 adventure game show. Feel free to pull up link right there. Click that bad boy. Come learn something about startups, tech, health, and even getting into YC. So, as I was saying, Morgan, thank you so much for the 2-month subscription. I got to get my Twitch emotes back up in terms of like my notifications. I got a lot of stuff to do to just get the stream to the point to where we're like, okay, we are cooking with motion. We are cooking with grease. So I do have a fair amount of things I need to do to get the stream back up to standard, up to par. But we have a dope chat. This will be a first for me, chatting with a bona fide MD on the stream. So I'm excited for this. I hope you guys are too. And without further ado, I'm going to be bringing our guest up. But let me just tweet this out first, because if I don't put this on IG, Camille's going to yell at me. He's the head of content. And the last thing I need is him telling me like I'm not doing my job correctly. So we're going to put this on IG first. And then we are going to bring Cathleen to the stage because I'm super excited for this convo. So without further ado, Cathleen, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join me on the stream and talk about your incredible company, your journey as a founder. It's a pleasure to have you. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for the very kind and sweet introduction. Really such an honor to be here today.
It's an honor for me too, because like I was telling the chat, you're the first MD to come on the stream. Now I can ask like doctor questions I've always had thoughts on, because we don't oftentimes get MDs who decide I want to like go further with the max pain and go from the difficulty of medical school to the difficulty of building a founder. So, I mean, of being a founder. So you are a completely different breed of person in general.
I will say yes, it's very, very rare, but I have always been I have like a very type A personality. If I'm not being a founder, I want to do neurosurgery the whole time. And if people know medicine, they know like neurosurgery is one of the most competitive field, and you need a lot of rigorous training to get to being actually attending. So it's a totally different challenge, but I love the challenge being a founder and a challenge being a neurosurgeon. And I think the quality and also the characteristic in me really help. Like I want to be a neurosurgeon, really help me being a good founder as well.
This is going to be like the most awesome conversation ever, because I'll be able to just talk about or ask you about so many different things. But I want to start off with just your background, kind of getting a sense of what made you want to just jump into the healthcare field. If you could just give us like the quick elevator pitch on who is Cathleen Kuo. And I hope I said that correctly. If I didn't, feel free to yell at me. But yeah, we want to know more about you.
Appreciate it. Your pronunciation is fantastic, by the way, for Chinese.
Yes.
For the speaker, it's really hard, I know. I have always loved medicine since I was a kid. I always know I want to do medicine. Actually, don't know.
Yeah.
Never thought I will be a founder one day. I always know I want to be a doctor. I love helping people. I love treating patients, be able to help patients at their most vulnerable time in life. Even since the start of medical school, I never thought I want to be a founder at all. Until when I was like third year of medical school, I actually encountered a group of very talented, incredible doctors that they're doing some like innovation using AI in healthcare. So really opened my perspective to join the business world at the time. And I actually have the idea that I'm working on right now, because I'm an immigrant myself. Both my parents actually don't speak English at all. You can tell I have an accent, and English is not my first language.
It's still great though. Your accent, like you do a great job speaking English, very eloquent. So even though you do have your accent, don't feel like you're off par. You're spot on.
No, I really appreciate that. That means a lot. But yeah, so everyone can probably tell if you don't speak English, it's actually very hard to try to communicate your thoughts. And when you're actually in pain or like at the worst as being a patient, you don't know how to communicate with your doctors. That's a huge problem. And I actually saw this firsthand through my parents, especially when we first moved here from Taiwan. My mom got like really, really sick, and they are in the ER at one of the biggest national hospital in the United States. And at the time, we had to literally wait for over 15 minutes in the ER in front of the physician, not knowing like how to communicate with the physician. My mom was apparently like obviously in pain. And when the interpreter finally joined us on a phone call, the interpreter literally mistranslated so many critical information. Like even the most simple, like for example, my mom said that she had pain in the belly, and the interpreter will translate it as pain in the leg. That the doctor prescribed the wrong medication, and then my mom got very serious complication because due to the wrong diagnosis and wrong prescription. And even me and my sister were sent to do like a very rare and interesting genetic test called Lynch syndrome, which is very scary if anyone had that in medical field. And so at the time, this is where the idea kind of start building. Like this is something that need to be solved, because we're in 2020, we're in like 20 centuries already.
Yeah.
This is like a very, very old school, still using human to bridge a language gap, but there's not enough certified medical interpreter to actually be able to help those patients out. Throughout my medical training, saw the exact same issue, and from the provider physician standpoint, like seeing really how language barrier impact healthcare, really make patients who don't speak English have much worse outcome compared to patient who speak English, which is such an unfair thing.
It's disgusting. You know?
Exactly.
So I'm guessing, correct me if I'm wrong, you speak, is your mother and you speak Mandarin, or?
Yeah, we speak Mandarin, and we still speak Mandarin at home. Both my parents still don't speak any English at all.
Good for them for sticking with it and like not just conforming. I actually love that. But you touched on something with this being like such a major pain point, and in hospitals, like currently right now, if like, let's say I came here from, my fiance, she's Nigerian. If she spoke, a traditional Nigerian language and she did not speak any English, like what would her experience be like if she walked into the ER right now and something crazy was happening and she had to try to wait for the right interpreter?
So the current solution to bridge the language barrier is human interpreters. And usually the hospital or any healthcare organization will source out to a third-party vendor who provide the remote interpreters. And it's usually done over the phone calls or video conferencing, but majority of the time it's through the phone calls. So the main issue is that usually the provider have to wait for over 15 to 30 minutes or even hours.
That's so long.
And have an interpreter not even join the conversation. Can you imagine this? If you have like a pain in the ED, urgently need to let the physician know what's going on. You aren't able to even communicate with any healthcare providers. And it's also very expensive for healthcare organization. Hospital can spend up to millions, even over $5 million every year just on interpretation, because this is actually something mandatory by law to provide for any patient who don't speak English. And the solution is pretty terrible. That's what I'll say. And there's so many like inconsistent quality of the interpreter as well. So
you feel the pain point. You felt it when you were younger with your mom. You've seen it firsthand in the ER, in hospitals, and you come up with Opalite. If you had to just give me the high level of like how Opalite solves this, like how does it get solved?
Yeah, so we're an AI medical interpreter to help any healthcare provider communicate with patients who don't speak English. It's a real-time speech-to-speech interpreter that will going back and forth to help. For example, if the doctor speak in English, it translates to patient's language. And when the patient speak, it translates back to patients, to the English for doctors.
So is this like a hardware device that a doctor is wearing, or is it like a software that would be on like kind of like, the nurse computer as it's like going around? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, it's a software. So it can be used on any device. Pretty much every device under the earth. Sometimes I joke to people that you can even use the Samsung's refrigerator. It will work. So it's pretty much like a device you can use on phones, tablets, both Android and iOS, and also laptop, computer. We also have a telephonic solution that can be used as on the phone line, also a telehealth solution as well.
That is really incredible. So when you think of, because for me, right, like when I look at startups and I think about like product market fit or startup founder fit, even though this has probably been an issue for some time, I haven't heard of many folks beyond you trying to do something like this. Why hasn't there been anyone who's tried to take on this challenge up until now?
Yeah, great question. So one of the biggest point is technology or AI just got good enough to be able to do very highly context aware, almost real time speech to speech interpretation.
Yeah.
So I'm not technical, so wasn't able to. I won't really be able to provide any like technical standpoint, but it's mostly for example, Google Translate is using something called like neural network, but
Mhm.
right now all the AI translation is using something called transformer, which is much better and highly context aware and very speedy. And also the speech latency, we are able to get it down to over to less than 300 milliseconds compared to
Wow.
previously it takes like probably like 2 to 3 seconds, which is not okay for
Yeah.
healthcare use.
It's so funny because I love books on space, and I was recently
Mm.
reading this book. I go into ChatGPT and it's like late,
Mm.
and I'm like, hey, ChatGPT, recommend me a book that has something to do with
Mm.
sci-fi and space. And it recommends
Mm.
me this really good book that I've read through, and now I'm like reading the second book. And in the book, you have all of these different space creatures, and they all have their own races. And
Mm.
they have this thing, like a couple of the creatures, they don't actually speak, native languages. It's like very muffled. They
Mm.
have these, in a sense, voice boxes that do the similar
Mm.
translation of what you guys at Opalite do, which is like, I speak in English. If I was in
Mm.
France right now and I needed medical
Mm.
care, I wouldn't have to go through an interpreter for English to French. In the same way, someone over
Right.
here, you could kind of do this in any hospital and solve any
Right.
need around the world.
Mm. Exactly. You can pretty much travel to, let's say, Indonesia, and then using our app and be able to communicate with the providers, like any healthcare providers over there as well. We do think this will help opens a lot of, for example, like medical tourism too,
Yeah.
for people going. I know, like for just an example, I recently encountered people want to go to Korea to do plastic surgery. Right now, you
Yeah.
can speak with any plastic surgeon in Korea.
Yeah. It's like one of those ideas where I'm sitting here almost like, why wasn't this done before? But it makes like complete sense. I don't know if you've used Whisper Flow, but I kind of got the same feeling when I was like using it. It's like text to speech or speech to
Right.
text for your, for your keyboard, your mouse, and they also have
Mhm.
they also have an app. But when you think about kind of some of the challenges, you guys have a really good idea. You're trying to get into Y Combinator. Was that originally like the plan to go the YC route, or what was the initial thought process there?
So we actually didn't plan to apply at all.
Yeah.
But one of our advisor, also angel investor, who's an ex-YC founder, kind of like push us a week beforehand.
Hmm.
And I literally submit the finished application like pretty much a day before, and then
Yeah.
switch like how we're like putting together the idea, like how we frame the idea, like literally 3 hours before I submit the application, like within an hour of the deadline. So we
Yeah.
totally didn't expect that we're going to get an interview and also get accepted by YC.
What was that process like going through that interview? I guess like you submitted and then you get a message and they're like, hey, like we want to chat with you. What was that like?
It's pretty surreal because first of all, we are not expected anything, so we didn't really like. It's such a cool surprise for us,
Yeah.
and we actually was invited to do the in-person interview at YC office.
That's awesome.
It was very nerve-wracking, but we do think we know what we're doing very well since we've been on this for over a year already by the
Mhm.
time. And we clearly know like what's the problem we're solving, what's our solution, and the partner that interviewed us was pretty much didn't ask any like hard question
Yeah.
and nothing like really challenging. Pretty much just like try to explain what we're doing and how we are thinking about like the go-to-market sales end.
And
And
Grant, I don't want you to share all of the sauce, but
Mhm.
what does a sales cycle for selling medical software to a hospital look like? I'm guessing it's not an easy process.
Yes, I will say healthcare is probably one of the worst industry to sell into. It has an extremely long sales cycle, and also there's a lot of regulation, multiple like massive amount of decision maker, a lot of loops to run through. So it's definitely not a fun industry to sell into. But for us, our experience actually is not too bad. We are able, on average, we close all our contract on an average of 3 weeks compared
That's
to like long
impressive.
sales cycle. that other people do, which is usually like months to years. We think one of the biggest advantage for us is the solution we're providing really solve a pain point, because the stakeholder really feel the pain and they want to like cut the costs, want to have better integration into EHR, make the workflow better for healthcare providers. And also I think another advantage of us is my background as both a physician and also an immigrant. So they feel like they're not buying. They don't want to actually healthcare executive don't want to buy from someone who's software engineer. Don't want to buy from two technologists. Don't want to buy from someone who has a background, who experienced the problem themselves, and know that we're actually doing this because we want to make healthcare better, rather than just want to do a business.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Just being on this chat with you, I've chatted with folks that are like, to your point, they're software engineers and they're like building AI for whatever they're building it for, and they don't really have like domain expertise, or they're not like trusted in that industry. Like I was chatting with a guy who's like doing, he's trying to do AI for electricians, and it was like a previous batch. And I was like, how the hell do you sell into an industry where it's like, you don't go in with any trust? Whereas like for you walk in the door and it's like, I'm an actual doctor who left my very lucrative job to go through the pain of being a founder to create something that I could then add value back to the healthcare space with. So it's almost like the motive it doesn't come off as like, hey, you're just trying to make money doing this, but like you genuinely give a damn about the outcome of making the healthcare industry better. That's a really cool selling point.
Yeah, really, really appreciate that. And yeah, we do find that help resonate with a lot of the stakeholder executives, which we do think it helps us shorten the sales cycle, and also more people willing to talk to us rather than compared to other competitors.
The last question I have on this subject is, I want to kind of get a sense of, you guys started at YC, you're chasing customers, you have your product. What is your like early reaction to the experience of being in YC and moving at such a fast pace?
Honestly, I love YCs because both me and my co-founder are very, very hardworking person. Before joining YC, we work a lot compared to most of people. We work at least like 10 hours a day. But just being YC, we start working around 8 or 9 a.m. and then work until 10 or 11 p.m. like every single day. And we both really enjoy the experience being able to just head down building, really want to like chase a goal. And also actually really, really cool. I think a story I can probably show.
Please share, please.
One of the cool things, one of the best thing I have ever experienced from being a YC founder so far is right before Christmas, I was actually in Dogpatch trying to like do the apartment hunt. And I was going to show my mom, my sister about YC office. So I walk into YC office and so PG was there.
Oh,
so I went up, say hi to him, introduce myself, briefly explain what we're building. And he was like, oh my God, I love what you guys are building. And let's just do a spontaneous office hour. I was able to talk to him without preparing anything for over an hour. And that's probably the best hour of my life, learning so much from all the knowledge he had.
That's so dope.
Is like, it's crazy that being a YC founder, you got to experience so many different things, and you got to meet people who's not just someone you watch on YouTube or read through their essays, but actually meet them in person.
Okay, now I have to ask this question, and you don't have to share, but what was one of the best pieces of advice that you got from PG during your office hours?
I love all the analogies she talked about. Try to be like a thief, like a crook.
Yeah.
Try all the doorknobs you can. Don't say no to anyone who want to use your product. We're too early for that. You want to just, for anyone who say yes, and find the one who will say yes the fastest. That's the most important as an early stage founders.
That's dope. I feel like that's one of those experiences, like when you look back and you've built Opalite to like a unicorn, you could go back and be like, yeah, I remember it all started in PG's office hours when I just randomly stumbled across him while apartment hunting. Like, that's such a crazy story.
I know, yeah, it's totally still surreal to me.
Well, we're entering one of my favorite parts. We got a little mini game brought to you by Warp, which is the fastest, best place to do your payroll. I don't know who you guys do payroll with, but I'm going to convince you to use Warp. But we are going into the Warp Speed Lightning Round. I'm going to give you 5 lightning round questions. You have to answer them in a minute and 30 seconds. You get 90 seconds to answer all 5 questions. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. First question. What's one medical habit that you believe should be fully automated by AI in the next 2 years?
Habit?
Or like anything that's in the medical field?
Oh, that definitely the note taking, and also I will say the AI note taker, like AI scribe, is definitely one of the biggest, because it's the most mutant job that any doctor has been doing.
All right, AI scribe. Next question. Would you, if you had to pick between either or, would you rather be a doctor for 10 years and make millions of dollars, or be a startup founder for 5 years, exit, but you have the most stressful time of your life?
Definitely the startup founders, because being a doctor, I can only impact the people that I treat in my life, my own patient. But being a startup founder, the impact I can make is probably to millions of people, like what we're doing right now, and even across the world if we can be successful.
Yeah, you can help. You can help so many more people. All right, third question. What's one belief about startups? What's one belief about healthcare startups? Hold up, let me reread that. What belief about healthcare startups do most founders get completely wrong?
You definitely need to have someone who has a clinical background, especially an MD, like a physician would be great, because if you are selling to hospitals or any healthcare organization, that's actually one of the biggest criteria they will actually look into. They want to buy from someone who has a background rather than just someone who's from the outside of healthcare.
Great answer. The next one I have for you is, what decision felt terrifying as a doctor, but obvious as a startup founder?
This is a very interesting question.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, you could answer it any way you want.
Founder mode. Because founder mode means that working whole day long, no break, eat whatever you have time, and don't sleep. But being a doctor, we know this is terrible for anyone's physical health. So I was on being the founder mode.
All right, last question. If you had to rely on one, would you rather rely on founder instincts or patient data to solve a problem?
I will say always need a good balance, but I will say founder instincts, because if I'm doing this, I know what I'm doing, and because patient data is something out of my control, but founder instinct, I know I have something I have control with.
You are a true founder at heart. You breeze through those questions. Now, I want to just get, and this is another part that I really love doing, which is like a mystery round, where I would love to know, what do you think are the biggest differentiators between going through going through medical school, right? And going through the max pain of medical school to become a doctor versus the max pain of working on something to become a founder and go through the whole slog of building a company that can change the world. Like, you have the duality of both there. And when you think about it from a pain perspective, what do you think is more painful, and how are you navigating both spaces?
I will say the pain aspect is very different. So being as a doctor, the pain is more of physical pain. It's because of the hours that you have to spend in the hospitals or treating the patient. But the knowledge is something you learn already, and you will get better and better. So it's easier mentally compared to being a founder. Because founders, you never know what's going to be you are going to wake up to the next day. There's going to be likely going to be like new set of challenges you have to solve. There might be something that doesn't go well with the business, or the world sometimes just have different things coming out. I literally talked to a founder the other day, another YC founder. They were originally doing something very similar to OpenAI Health.
Yeah.
That basically patient be able to upload their records and then ask about the questions. And then literally when they're going to launch the next day, OpenAI released OpenAI Health, and the cloud also released Cloud Health too. So
oh my gosh.
yeah, you never know what's going on the next day, especially with this like fast changing world. Every like company trying to come into even like a very like niche, highly regulated industry like healthcare.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like you could wake up any day and your company could be on fire. Someone could be trying to smash your company like a bug. It's like you have all the emotions of the uncertainty of not knowing what could happen, because you can't kind of control the industry around you. And I guess from your perspective, right, like as a doctor, you can control everything that you have information on, minus like if a patient is just like too far gone and like maybe, you know, the inevitable is they pass away. But for the most part, you can control things that you truly understand.
Exactly. That's well put, for sure. Yeah. You know, you have, you still will experience like patients crash immediately or out of the blue, but most of the time you actually have control in what's going on. But for startup, you never know. And also another point is, I would say being a doctor, being a founder, you actually have like, I would call it delayed gratification, because being a doctor, if the patient improve, it's such a like satisfied feeling that you get immediately. But as a founder, like the other day we have a co-founder of Anthropic join us to give us a talk, and he say he's also a co-founder for the CTO for Instagram as well. He told one of the cool things that he told us and still stick with me is not until 4 years later for Instagram success, he never believed Instagram is actually successful at all.
Wow.
So being a founder, regardless of how successful you are, you will always like doubt yourself, whether you can actually be better, or whether whether your company is actually surviving.
That's so real. I feel like because you become so close to the problem as well, like it almost like it becomes your baby. You never feel like what you're doing is good enough, even if someone else is trying to encourage you, right? Like your family could be like, oh, Cathleen, like you're doing great. Like, you know, keep pushing. You got to YC, you did all these things. And because there's like no stopping of the goalpost. There's always another thing you could be hitting, another metric. So you never really, unless you just take time, you never really get to sit and be like, wow, I've made it.
Exactly. You never feel like you're doing great. You always feel like everything is a crushing. You're like a loser as a founder. But which is, personally, I think that's a good thing, because it helped push me forward and then make me work harder to reach the goal I really want to reach.
When you think about goals and ideal outcomes, for you to feel like that feeling goes away, the feeling of like self-doubt or right now I'm a loser, whatever the thing is, what do you want to see from yourself and your company over the next couple of years?
Me and my co-founder want to bring our company IPO. That's a goal for us. We would love to really be able to do something that move the needle of healthcare, because a lot of the healthcare company I have seen or talked to, they're not really solving the real challenge, and then what they're doing doesn't really push healthcare forward. But I personally really want to make sure that we're using AI for goods, and AI actually can change something for both the providers and patient, not just making someone's job easier.
Yeah. That's so interesting. It feels like, because the mission is so great, and it's cool that you guys have like this this understanding that, hey, the goal isn't to just get big and then sell to somebody, but like we really want to turn this into like a generational healthcare company. Like, are there other industries or things in healthcare that you feel like AI could play a huge part in making the experience better, that go beyond just the initial mission of like, how do we democratize voice for every patient and every doctor in every room?
Yes, I actually love what you're just saying, because that's actually the direction I personally am very, very passionate about. I do believe voice play a huge role in the future of diagnostics or monitoring patients or even treatment. So think of it as, for example, if someone, like, you have a patient who's depressed, they went into going to see a doctor.
Yeah.
Pretty much just have Opalite on the, like, a film of Opalite turn on, and then we can tell the doctor, hey, please screen this patient for depression. This patient likely have depression, or we can do this for like other mental health illnesses, neurological diseases, or even hypertension or diabetes. Can you imagine without getting your HbA1c checked through a blood test, but just use voice to diagnose? I do think this
That's
is
incredible.
a cool direction, and this is the future of healthcare.
I mean, once you get to that point, we're talking billions of value created. So yeah, that's like such an incredible mission. I'm excited to see it happen. I
Appreciate it.
I want to jump into more of the founder conversation, because whether or not you believe it, like, you guys have hit some incredible early stage milestones, building a cool product, closing customers, getting into Y Combinator. If you had to give advice to a founder that is looking to do something revolutionary in healthcare, and they're thinking, I have this very cushy job, I don't know if I should leave, I'm on the fence, what advice would you give them to help them make a decision on whether or not to just take the plunge?
You only live once. That's what I tell myself. You only live once. You only have this because you only have this chance as everyone has only one chance in their life to decide whether they can actually do something for themselves.
Yeah.
And at the time, when I was deciding between being a founder versus a physician, I told myself, this is the only time that I can do this decision. If, for example, I'm 5 years older, I might have a family, I won't be able to work like a founder anymore. I would just do a normal 9 to 5 physician job. So I would say, really just just more in general advice is really have conviction.
Yeah.
That's really, really important. Me and my co-founders start with this idea. We see so many people we know who's in the same group change their idea, pivot, but we got a lot of terrible feedback for the idea too. People don't believe in us. But every time we just go back to, we know this is an issue. We know this is something people want. Regardless of what other people think or what other people believe in, we still have conviction in this idea. And then we know we're going to make it.
You touched on something really cool. The idea that a lot of founders pivot because they don't have a deep level of conviction to be able to see around when people are naysayers or tell them you should do this or change that. Do you think that that could be a byproduct of not having enough lived experiences? Whereas, like, you've gone through the rigors of becoming a doctor and being so close to the pain point that there isn't anyone who isn't in the medical field that could probably give you better advice than what you've already experienced on building the thing you're building.
I do agree with you. Like, for the strong conviction we have, it's, I will say 80% because of my personal experience, 20% from the customer feedback. So it's almost like a combination, but I will say it's definitely a byproduct of personal experience that give us really this strong conviction of what we're doing. And also, I would say mission is another really important thing. Really think about, for any founders, really think about what make you angry at night, what make you like wake up every day, motivate you to keep building, keep going. That's really important.
You're dropping gems. My last question in the startup advice category is, you said you're non-technical, which is like, it's funny because like you're technical at the same time because of the like your medical skills. But what would be your advice in finding a co-founder as someone who I'm guessing your co-founder is the CTO and he crushes it in that category. But like, what was that experience like for you, and how did you and your co-founder meet?
So we met actually through my sister because my sister also went to Berkeley, and we met about like 4 to 5 years ago. I actually start a different startup called MedX. They're in medical school, and he was our software engineering consultant. And I will say the best advice is really work with someone who you can have really good communication style. Because for one of the biggest, what attracted me toward my co-founder is we have great communication style. We're both very straightforward, no BS people. If we don't like it, we don't like it. We will let each other know immediately. So there's never like any resentment, never holding back. Just if we like this, we will tell each other. And we're so grateful for each other a lot as well. So I think that's really, really helpful to build that co-founder relationship.
That's dope. So when you had the idea, did you have to pitch him on it?
Actually not as much because he grew up in the US, but his mom is a pulmonologist from Russia, and he actually he saw the kind of similar issue for his mom as well.
Oh, that's got to be the best when you and your co-founder are just like so aligned with the problem to the point to where it's like, yeah, we know exactly what we're going after. Like, that's a really good synergy to have.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely like direct communication. Really, both the founder somewhat live the problem themselves. It's the best type of founder market fit.
Yeah. Well, you have given us so much value on this. I have to end it on a very easy and fun note. I'm putting you through 3 rounds of YC Arena. You have to judge whether or not a startup founder made it into YC based on their startup pitch. So, are you ready?
Yes.
All righty. Let's see if you have the skills of a YC partner. We got 3 founders for you, and we are going to jump directly in with the first founder. You, at any point in time, you can tell me to pause it, and I'll stop it, and then you can let me know if they got in or not.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
Hi, I'm Drew. I'm studying CS at Stanford. In fact, we're all juniors studying CS here. I was the first employee at Cascading AI, YCS23, and I'm slated to work at BCG Chicago this summer.
Hey, my name is Abel. I interned at Apple last summer as a SWE.
Hey, I'm Sakrut. I interned at Lockheed as a systems engineer and have an offer from SpaceX.
And I'm Noah. I'm currently studying abroad in Japan and have an offer at Amazon.
Together, we're not only roommates, in fact, we're in our cramped triple right now, but we're also the co-founders of Revolt, a peer-to-peer EV charging startup that enables homeowners to rent out their level 2 chargers to drivers in need. Our mission is to create the nation's largest network of EV chargers.
To validate our idea, we flew down to Phoenix to do 50 user interviews, and we saw the same problems expressed time and time again.
Drivers saw our idea as a solution to their charging anxiety, and most homeowners we spoke to were super interested in the potential for passive income.
We think the time to act is now. Through IC, we're really excited to scale up our idea this summer.
I will.
Thank you.
Wow.
So this is not based on personal, right? It's more like thinking from the YC partner perspective.
Yes.
Now,
However you want to go after it.
okay.
It's totally up to your discretion.
Do I have to provide like justification of it?
Only if you want to.
Sure. I'll say reject because well then very obviously sounds like they're reading a script.
Ooh, okay. I was actually going to say accept just because they had like crazy job offers. And I know that YC like kind of really likes people that have absurd like backgrounds and stuff. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see. This one's a tough one, but I do love your thesis around why you think they got rejected. So let's see what happened. Did Revolt, they said, get in? You were right. They did not get in. Oh my gosh. You were cracked. You read them like a book.
I think also like you make a really good point, but I actually have the opposite perspective compared to you. When they they drop a lot of big names and say they have offer from all this big company. It almost give them a different route they can go under rather than, oh yeah, I have nothing, I have no choice, so this is the only pathway I'm going to do. Like during our YC interview, we actually make this very, very clear. My co-founder also was a engineer at Apple. He quit Apple. He actually have a job offer from Apple to quit his job at Apple to do this. And for me, I turned down like being a physician to do this. So we make it really clear to YC that this is our only choice and this is the only path we're going down.
That's like a spot on observation. All right, you were 1 for 1. Let's go to the next pitch.
Hello, welcome. I'm Shriram, CEO of Bench AI.
Hi, I'm Manish, CTO of Bench AI.
I'm Matthew, CQO of Bench AI.
And I'm Edgar, the COO of Bench AI.
While working as a machine learning engineer, I've noticed that a lot of critical development time that should be going into our model instead goes into integrating our application into the cloud.
As a developer for AWS, I noticed the large amount of overhead needed for developers to access any cloud infrastructure.
And that's when we came up with Bench AI, a platform that simplifies this entire process, all without any cloud knowledge or experience needed.
To use the platform, simply create a project on our website and pick a plan that best fits your needs.
And from there, just integrate our SDK onto your code, and with one simple command, your model is now in the cloud, ready to be used.
Our application is currently expected to launch by the end of May, and then we'll start onboarding customers in order to use our application.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity, and we look forward to one day scaling and growing our business by your side.
Thank you.
I will say reject.
Yeah, I kind of didn't get the vibe either. I was like, alrighty, that makes you 2 for 2. Yeah, there was something off. I couldn't put my finger on it. I was just like, there's nothing compelling here. But you're 2 for 2.
They don't have the energy. They don't have the right energy for a founder. That's what I would say. They are like too passive. Being a founder, you almost need to be somewhat opinionated and very aggressive in some way.
I 100% agree with you.
They don't have the vibe.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. The aura was missing there. All right, we got number 3. Let's see. I am going to reserve my judgment.
Hi, I'm Pascal Dow, co-founder and CEO of MakePrint. I'm an ML researcher on the Air Force Research Lab project, previously a software engineer at CCG.
Hi, I'm Josias Mokpe, co-founder and CTO of MakePrint, ML researcher on the NASA project, and previously worked as a software engineer at the Raytheon Collins Aerospace.
We created MakePrint to streamline workflows for product development and prototyping companies. After launching our beta in January, we've had hundreds of signups. Interacting with users helped us narrow our focus to developing Gen, a CAD copilot.
Gen integrates directly with existing CAD setups, saving engineers hours in iteration cycle by suggesting designs, optimization, and analysis through advanced visual-spatial reasoning. Users interact with Gen through text or audio, making it as intuitive as sketching.
We've built strong relationships with executives from Siemens NX, AutoCAD, and SolidWorks, and we've engaged with design engineers from SpaceX, Rolls-Royce, and Cummins to better understand their challenges and ensure that Gen accelerates their daily operations.
We are collaborating with SolidWorks to deploy Gen to millions of users in critical US industries like automotive, aerospace, and manufacturing.
YC's expertise could help us refine our offer and expand our market reach. We're excited to bring YC on our journey to transform CAD. Thank you.
This is a little bit tough one.
This one's interesting. I'm like, it could go either way.
I know they are very it's apparent that they talk to user and then they know what they're doing in some way. But I
kind of am feeling like there's something off.
Right.
Like
yeah, go ahead first.
I was saying I can't place my finger on it. Like the background seemed great, but I don't know. Maybe it's the idea for me.
I guess I'm not technical, so I'm not completely understanding like the idea exactly to be able to give a good judgment on whether the idea is good or not. I can only tell they talk to users, they have users, they seems to have some tractions.
Yeah. Go with your gut.
That Let's do reject again.
All right.
Yeah,
I mean,
if I have reservation, I should just do rejection.
I'm thinking reject too. So let's see. Will you make it 3 for 3? Oh, you were right.
Oh, nice.
100%. That means your gut is incredible. There you go.
Appreciate it. This is fun.
No, I appreciate you.
Like YC tradition.
I've been trying to. I'm trying to make it like more of an interesting thing. But I've been enjoying playing it as a mini game because I mean you're in YC, so getting the opinions of founders to be able to break down why they think someone did or did not get in. And like you, I'm gonna be honest, you were one of the better evaluators of talent. We've had some people on and they've gotten like all 3 wrong and they've been founders. So it's just funny to watch like people have kind of different understandings of how they analyze pitches.
Yeah, VC job is very subjective. Just need to find your people.
It's so funny
it's impossible
too.
To please anyone.
Because if you just get one right, you look like the smartest person on the planet as a VC. You like get one unicorn and they're like, oh yeah, he did that company. He's great. And you can miss like for the rest of your career, but you got one.
Exactly. Well, it's all a lottery game.
This is true. Well, I appreciate you coming on because this was an absolute blast to have you come in, tell us about Opalite. I think you guys are doing something incredible, and we will definitely be in touch because I might be interested in getting in on that juicy YC round.
Yeah, we will love that. Really, really such an honor and pleasure to be on the podcast. Or this is like a call. It's such a fun thing for me to do. This is actually my first time. I usually don't do this at all, but
oh my God, I feel honored. Thank you.
This is actually my first one. I don't think I'm a good candidate for a podcast or like a video at all, but we heard great thing about you guys. So thought like I would love to just chat. And also I love how you make it just really fun to have like the what's that called, the lightning speed questions, and also like judging whether this applicants will get into YC or not. It's so fun. I love it.
I wanted it to be something kind of fun, fast paced, because also like I know your time is valuable, and I've seen one too many podcasts that are just like, "Whoa, tell me about what you're doing," and it's like it just feels like so boring and bland. I'm like, your life as a founder is already difficult and like serious. Like, let's just like have fun and like make it a chill conversation. It doesn't have to be so overly serious. And I think you were a great guest, so you should definitely do more of these.
Really, really appreciate the kind word, Bryce. Truly appreciate it. And it's such an honor to be able to chat and just share my story to let more people know this is something that need to be changed.
100%.
Such a huge help.
You were great. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm sure the next time I'll be out for demo day, but I'm sure the next time I'm in town, I plan on hosting a dinner. I'll make sure I shoot you an invite.
Yeah, we'll definitely love to meet in person.
Likewise. You take care.
Thank you, Bryce. Appreciate it.
Thanks again. Dude, I feel like we get the best guests. Shout out to Camille. I deadass think we get the best guests on the show. Like, you know how like absurd it is, at least for me. She was a neurosurgeon, an MD in neurosurgeon, and decides to like take a break from that to build AI voice for patients and doctors. Like, I don't think people realize how insane that is. Shout out to Camille. We get some crazy good guests on the stream. And you know what's crazy? I think people love that format for the exact reason that she loved it. It's like, it's not overly serious. There are games to break it up. You're not like just sitting here just being drilled on a bunch of like bullshit questions. And like, I'm not an overly serious guy. I just kind of like vibe out. And then everyone else vibes out. And then we just create the vibe together. You know, it's all about the vibes. So for me, this was great. Heck yeah, great format. Tomorrow we have open pitch, so that should be even more fun. But yeah, I think that vesting has a chance. I think that we have a chance to like. I think that we have a chance to build something special, man. Like I truly do believe that. I think like the format is different. You guys need help with the pitching? I'm gonna put out a post and like curate a couple of people to pitch. I think I'm gonna pull Dev. I got like 1 or 2 more folks that I'm gonna pull. But no, I think we should be good. It's going to be like it's gonna be fun. I do have some stuff that I need to like get in order before the night, but I think we'll be in good shape. It's one of those things. And then also what I'm gonna start doing, I think that there's a world where even on days where I don't have a guest, I could just stream me. Like I could just have a regular stream, but instead of it being on the like a bunch of topics for like whoever I'm chatting with, it could just be topics on what's happening in the tech startup venture realm that day. Like I deadass think we could just also run those because it's great to have a guest. I don't think we need guests every day. I think guests are great. I want to get as many guests as we can, but for days where we don't, maybe those are the days where we just have people come up and pitch. We have people join me on the stream, talk about what they're building, all that cool stuff. Like this is crazy. Capital One buys Brex for $5 billion. Like when we talk about like absurd deals happening, this has got to be at the top of the list. Even if you solo host Pitch Me Your Startup with the cams, could go crazy on YouTube. I actually agree with you. So we got a breaking news out of Vesting Live. Capital One strikes $5.5 billion agreement to buy fintech company Brex. And for those who are unaware, Brex, this is like almost like a monumental like purchase because Brex is like one of the premier like kind of neo fintech companies that has just kind of like crushed it. Do you remember a dude named Showtime back in the Comp COD days? We used to team. Was this like COD Ghost or like pre-COD Ghost? I'm thinking this is like COD Ghost time frame. Yeah. Did we used to play S&D together? If so, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, bro, it's crazy. Like that legit was my first foray into content. Like I was in college then. I was a freshman in college. That was like legitimately 13 years ago. So that's like actually nuts. And yeah, I mean, I've been full-time in content since 2021. Before that I was a software engineer. So bro, that's why I'm 30 now. I don't know how old you are, but I'm fucking 30. Like we were like 18. We were like 17 or 18 back then. Like aged. We're not just old men, we're aged men. I'm 31 now, 2 kids, a dog and 2 kids and a wife. Yo, dog, I'm gonna shoot you a message on Twitch. We got to catch up. Are you on Discord? Add me on Discord. We got to catch up on a call. Brex got acquired, bro. Brex just got acquired for $5.15 billion. If Brex is selling for $5 billion, how much is Ramp worth? Is it a CEO said? Is this the CEO? I don't think this is. Today, who's the CEO of Brex? This is not the CEO. Today, Capital One is acquiring Brex for 5.15 billion in largest bank fintech deal ever. I'm grateful to have been Brex's first board member and to have invested in them at a $10 million seed valuation. Yeah, I completely understand you putting out a post, my brother. This guy just got filthy rich. Like, completely. Thank you for having me on this 9-year ride, and thank you for an exit of over 500 times the initial valuation I invested in. So you think getting acquired for $5 billion is a down round? I mean, yeah, you might as well throw him on VC Brags. They were def worth more at one point. I mean, it could be, right? Let me check Crunchbase. So they raised 1.17 billion. You might be right. Well, if they raised 1.17 billion, that means they were probably raising at like a 10 bill. Oh, this is total raised. They did a debt financing deal in January of this year, led by Citi. Oh my God, you're right. Fintech Brex confirms $12.3 billion. They were valued at $12.3 billion in 2022. Jesus. Honestly, it would not surprise me if they sold because, like, yeah, growth kind of stalled and VCs just wanted out. I mean, think about it. If you invested in this round, this Series D2 round, you actually lost money. Damn, that's actually very interesting. We're celebrating the round, and like there were still VCs that lost money on this deal. They achieved decacorn status. Golly. 12 points. So they lost about 50% of their value on that sale. No. Yeah, they did. That's crazy. Even their Series D in 2021, they raised a Series D and a Series D2. Jeez. That was at 7.4 billion. Damn, whoever got into their Series D got completely railed on this one though. Not gonna lie, it's kind of rough. That's pretty rough. I mean, that's also the reason why when you think about like VC outcomes, that's why it's also think of like when people will be like, oh man, maybe you should just bootstrap. It's like high key. I don't know if it's you should bootstrap. I think it's like, I think it's more so you should, if you're taking a check, I mean, if you're taking money, I think you just have to be so strategic because that means if they raised at a down round, then that means the founders really didn't even get paid out like much of anything outside of like the money they made from their salaries and like any secondaries they took from previous rounds. Like I'm sure they took secondaries, but that means they would not have made any money off this sale. That's rough. But that's the thing. If you raise at a 12 and you sell it at 5, you're not making any money off that deal at that point. What that tells me is like, well, didn't one of the co-founders leave? Yeah, like, because investors, that's the thing. Investors have preferred shares. So investors get paid out first. So investors probably got the bulk of the money. Yeah, here it is. Someone even put the post here. Brutal result for Brex investors. First mover advantage is overrated. 12 bill peak valuation, acquisition price, 5.15 billion, value destruction of 58% from the height. It's also ironic, not in a bad way, because these guys aren't like, they're competitors in the grand scheme of things, but they're not fighting with pitchforks. But Eric Glyman, as amazing of a CEO as he is at Ramp, this is like how insane this is. Brex at one point, like I'm going to break down how insane this is. So Brex sells to Capital One. Actually, this is actually like absurdly insane. Like, it's actually so insane that like you're gonna look at this and be like, what the fuck? So this is insane. Brex sells to Capital One for 5.15 billion. They were the first mover in their category, absolutely crushing it. Here's where it gets insane. They sell for 5.15 billion. Brex's biggest funding round, Brex's largest funding round, Brex's largest funding round was at a $12.3 billion valuation. It was a Series B extended round, and they raised at a $12 billion valuation, which means that for Brex to even get like a positive outcome, they would have needed to sell this company for above 12.3 billion. They ended up selling at 5.1, peak valuation of 12.3. Value destruction is 58% from peak valuation to exit, meaning that most of the team probably didn't get much of anything because investors lost so much on this. But what's even more ironic, the company that is the reason as to why they probably haven't been growing, like, ironically, their biggest competitor and the reason why their valuation is actually down from 2022 is a guy named Eric Glyman at Ramp. Ramp is a direct competitor of Brex. And Eric Glyman's company, his former company, Paribus, was acquired by Capital One. Capital One is the company that just bought Brex. And then Eric Glyman puts out a tweet and says, congrats to the team on the acquisition. Major testament to what you guys have built. Very nice of him. If you need any food recommendations in McLean, I have fond memories. Because Capital One's headquarters is in Tyson's Corner, McLean, Virginia, at that intersection of Tyson's Corner and McLean. And Eric has spent a lot of time out there because he previously lived there when his company got acquired by Capital One. So Brex gets an exit at a 50% discount. Eric Glyman's current company, Ramp, which is the company he built after building Capital One, after Eric Glyman's current company, which is the company he built after finishing his term of his first exit, which is to Capital One, basically contributed to Brex getting such a low exit on their previous valuation, and now they're getting dinner recommendations. I love Eric Glyman. Absolutely insane. I gotta say it. That's crazy. Oh my God, that's crazy, bro. I am sick. That is insane. Yes, that is definitely going to be a reel. Like, it has to be. I gotta even... I got to tweet it out. This is so nuts. Eric then builds Ramp, Breck's competitor. Breck speaks at 12 bill valuation. Ramp cooks and starts taking over. This is so insane. Like, Ramp cooks and start. It's actually crazy. I pray he did he delete this? I have to post this. Like, I don't think people realize how unreal this is. Let me see.
Congratulations.
How are you guys?
Good to see you.
Congratulate. Saying congratulate. I'm sorry, but saying congratulations is nuts. Jesus.
What a day. Pedro, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Congratulations.
How are you guys? Thank
Good
you
to
so
see
much.
you.
We're super pumped. Good to see you as well.
Give us the news. How'd this come together? What happened? I want to ring the gong.
Yeah. So today we're announcing the largest bank fintech merger in history between Brex and Capital One. I'll let you go for it. Go for it. 5.15 billion.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're really excited about this.
Yeah.
And as we thought about this, right? Capital One is the first fintech ever. They invented this concept of bringing technology into financial services.
That's right. That's right.
And as we got to know them, what we realized
Ooh, boy.
there was a really obvious 1 + 1 = 5 scenario here. And really, when we look at the sort of field that they operated, it was completely different than anywhere else compared to Brex. They had hundreds of millions of consumers, millions of businesses.
Man, I hate to be that guy, but I ain't even trying to hear all that shit. I need somebody to put like the grills on Eric Glyman, because that is just crazy. Like, when I tell you, like, I ain't even trying to hear all this shit, bro. Like, I don't know.
Cap, $900 billion in card GMV, and really the way that
it's still a pretty, like, don't get me wrong, I've never built anything to $5 billion. So from that angle, I am not making a joke out of this for the sake of being like, oh my God, like, it's not important, right? Because hats off to those guys. But when you do think about the difference in like valuation of last round versus like, bruh, Ramp being valued at $32 billion and Brex being sold at 5. Like, we talk about generational fumbles.
we thought about this.
That's got to be up there.
Combine the product that we built at Brex, right? We created this new category of company that brings financial services and software under one platform to help customers make better financial decisions, right? And we combine this with, the product and the platform with Capital One's unprecedented scale, brand, distribution, and balance sheet. We have this unique opportunity to accelerate our market and product with a level of investment that we would never be able to match as a standalone company. So it's really about how do we build the most important financial platform for businesses in the U.S. And this is such a unique combination of being two founder-led companies that fundamentally...
Man, they should have just sold this shit. They should have sold a long time ago. Oh, man. That's rough. It's still a crazy outcome, and this doesn't mean that the company dies, right? Like, I think Brex can still be like ultra successful. I just look at it from the perspective of like, if you invested at that $12.2 billion valuation, what like how do you feel right now, right? Like, we saw that one investor who was like in at seed. He's like, oh, I got in at 10 mil valuation. Of course you feel fucking great. But like for the guy that was like, oh man, I deployed $100 million at a $12 billion valuation. It just goes to show you, like, there's always a winner and a loser.
In growth and being here to win.
They always say, what's the phrase? Like, you meet your acquirer, years before any
deal
it actually happens.
Yeah. When
how
did you
guys
Capital One?
like first? How did the conversations first start?
So I've heard of Rich and the Capital One team for many years. Actually, even when I was back in Brazil, they were already an inspiration. These guys have been.
Either way, it's an inspiration that they were able to like build this, but I just think it's nuts. Eric Glyman is nuts. Absolutely nuts. I know he's probably laughing at this. Also, shout out to my boy Frank for dropping the TBPN chat. I gotta get you back on the stream. You're out in SF now, right? I need to know how things are going. I need to know what the vibes are. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. But man, one of the things kills rock, skewing, what? Skill-based marketplace for atomic networks, video. How long are you full-time in SF now? It's a vibe. AI vetting for task requirements and work submission. Same day pay on chain. Lots of projects. Okay. Okay. Yeah, see? I know. Listen, I knew I was not the only one. I knew I was not the only one that was going to talk about this. Only one. Full time till I raise a round, then becoming pro b-ball and traveling and content and hooping. What's the round dynamics looking like? We're going to start doing more streams like this too, because just because I run the streams with like guests, I could 100% bring up another guest. Like I could bring up somebody and we could just do a live pitch on the stream just like this. So tomorrow we will be doing Pitch Me Your Startup. I'm bringing my boy Gabriel on. It's going to be a cook. Cathleen just been back there vibing the whole time. Like, yo, what's good? Just froze right up. Oh my gosh, dude. You're doing 1.5 on a 10. How much is committed? Oh man, I'm just like, it's just great. I'm gonna watch this. I don't know what this is. Most valuable marketing conversation you're watching 2025. Nice. This is great. Also, the last thing I'll say about this Brex thing is it just goes to show how difficult it is. How difficult it is to build a life-changing company. And there is a point where you get too big. Like you can 100% get too big and not be able to like live up to the valuation. And I think like Brex really suffered probably from that of like 2021, 2022, euphoria, get so big, grow so fast, and then just like completely just tap out, man. Let me know. Keep me posted. Let me know when the app goes live. I'll make a video on TikTok for you or IG. I want to see you win. But we're going to call it a night. Because I got a couple things I need to do. Get some food. Relax. Maybe watch. I don't know. Does Jujutsu Kaisen come on tonight? Appreciate it. Have a good one. Much love, bro. Man. Yeah. I'm watching. I'm gonna hop off. Probably edit the clip from the stream, and then I will probably watch Jujutsu Kaisen. But I love you guys, man. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. We're gonna run a Pitch Me Your Startup. I'm gonna get some folks on the stream to pitch. You have a wonderful night. I got my boy Gabriel Jarrison coming on tomorrow. VC of Lobster Capital. Should be an absolute banger. So make sure you pull up tomorrow, and we'll chat soon, guys. You take care. You have a great night. And as always, become the impossible. Oh, the culling game starts tonight? Say less. Have a good night, Ice and Dark. Have a good night, Niam. Have a good night, Dev. Have a good night, Elvis. Have a good night, Real. Good night, Camille. Great episode again, man. Great episode. Always good stuff. Y'all take care.